Good evening, I'm Pinky Webb. Tonight we ask the questions, we tackle the issues, we clarify matters, and we get on point. A series of deadly road mishaps transpired in the past days, prompting the Transportation Department to create a task force that will review existing policies. Stringent measures are now also imposed on public transport drivers to ensure the safety of travelers. But beyond every driver's responsibility, how does the government discipline erring motorists to avoid road accidents from happening again? Let's get on point with Transportation Secretary Vince Dizon. Secretary, thank you for your time. I know you're very busy, but there's lots to talk about.
Good evening. Thank you. Good evening.
Thank you. Let's start with a tragedy in Naiya. I heard you already earlier during, your press conference that you were actually attending a wake in Antipolo due to the SC Tex tragedy. At napasugod po kayo sa Naiya because of what happened there. Just what is the update here? Kasi ang dami pa rin nagtatanong, ano ho ba talagang nangyari?
Opo. So the PNP is still investigating the incident. The driver is in custody. Nakukulong po yung driver. Nakausap ko po mismo yung driver kahapon nung nandun siya sa airport at nakakulong siya doon. Review po namin ang CCTV footage at naghatid po talaga siya ng pasahero. And ang problema, talagang, ang sabi niya, hindi daw niya maalaga, pero bigla na lang daw rumagasa.
Hold on, were reports true when he first said, when reports said that...
May iniwasan siya.
Oo, meron daw siyang iniwasan. Was that the first statement?
Hindi ko nakuha, wala siyang sinabing ganun sa akin. Hindi ko alam kung may sinabi siyang ganun sa PNP investigating officer. Pero nung kausap ko po siya, talagang medyo, ano bang word, tuliro. Yung, hindi mo makausap ng mabuti, siguro dahil na rin sa shock.
He was shocked, yeah.
Pero unang napansin ko, ewan ko kung depende sa investigasyon ng pulis, kung may kinalaman to. Unang napansin ko, nakachinelas lang siya. And alam ko nga na bawal yun. No? Bawal magmaneho na nakachinelas. Kasi delikado yun eh. Pwedeng maipit, pwede kang madulas, pwedeng hindi mo maapakan ng preno ng tama, pwedeng dumulas. And yun ang unang napansin ko, na pinoint out ko sa investigating officer.
But Sec Vince, alam ho ba ng mga tao na bawal magmaneho na nakachinelas?
Dapat po, alam nila. Dapat
alam niyo ba?
Nila. Dapat alam nila.
Okay.
Pero ito nga po ang punto. Na, again, uulitin ko. Pinky, we had this conversation the last time I was here. In fact, on April 21, the Monday after Holy Week, a few days after nandito ako, at pinag-usapan na natin ito. Kasi nga, ang daming aksidente nung mahal na araw, and yun nga, nag-test ang halos 100 driver na positibo sa droga. Kaya nga namin tinayo yung task force nung April 21 dahil nga dito. And ito na nga,
nangyari pa
yung
to
pinaka
after that. Yeah.
Ayaw nating mangyari, nangyari at grabe ang nangyari, magkasunod pa. Kaya Pinky, ang presidente talaga, nung nagkita kami nung Sabado, at sabi niya, hindi na pwede ito. No, kailangan baguhin na natin. Clearly, hindi nagwo-work itong sistemang na nandito ngayon sa atin, dito sa LTO, sa LTFRB, sa DOTr. Kasi paggrabe naman ng paggrabe. Yung mga aksidente, padami na ng padami. No? And parang ano na eh.
Well, you said it. The system is broken. Yun yung mga salitang ginamit mo kanina sa press conference.
And this is also what we talked about the last time I was here, a couple of weeks ago. And it's clearly not working, and it has to change. Because bottom line, people don't feel safe on our streets. You, me, all of us, we don't feel safe. Okay. And we have reason not to feel safe because of all these drivers who are taking drugs. And obviously, if they're taking drugs, then there is a high risk that something is going to go wrong.
Which could be obviously one component, Sec Vince, no? But I'll go to that because you have a department order
Yes.
na pinag-usapan niyo po kanina sa iyong press conference na sinain mo rin ngayong araw at ipinalabas. Pero iisa-isahin ko lang po yung dito muna sa NAIA. So, ang sabi pa rin ng driver, hindi niya alam kung ano nangyari. Yun ang sinabi po niya sa'yo.
Nagpanic siya, yun ang sinabi niya. Nagpanic siya, nagugat siya na nagkamali daw siya, no? Nag-accelerate siya, and kitang-kita sa CCTV, umpisa pa lang, umarangkada na, and lalo pang bumilis. So, I don't want to preempt the final police report, but, clearly, may problema tayo on the quality of our drivers.
Okay.
Clearly.
Bago po yun, kasi importante din pong malaman to eh. Bakit po nasira yung bumigay yung
bollard?
Opo.
Okay. Actually, isa sa mga unang tinignan ko yon. Nung pagdating ko sa NAIA, tinanong ko kagad yung pulis, saan lumusot yung sasakyan? So, pagkakita ko, may isang bollard na
Tumumba.
Natanggal. And kita naman sa CCTV, hindi siya madaling natanggal. Hindi siya madali siyang natanggal, no? Hindi man lang hindi man lang nag-resist
yung kotse.
Yung kotse. Talagang tuloy-tuloy. And nakita ko nga, and Mr. Ramon Ang was there, and we both noticed it, na parang medyo mababaw ang pagkabaon nung bollard. And syempre, kung mababaw ang pagkabaon, madaling matanggal yon. So, in fact, I've asked MIAA and the DOTr aviation sector to really look into it. Ano ba nangyari dyan? Kailan ba yan binili? Kailan ba yan kinabit? Ano ba ang specifications niyan? Kasi clearly may problema dyan, dun sa kinabit na bollard na yun.
Bakit ho ba may bollard dyan? Basically, really is to...
Ang lahat ng airport required na may bollards. Kung makikita nyo, ang magandang example dyan yung NAIA 3. Ang bollard sa NAIA 3, konkreto at malalaki. No? Kasi ano yan it's really a requirement. It's a security requirement for all airports. No? So,
Especially for a situation like that, right? Hindi ba, sir? Kasi kung nandun, matibay po yung mga bollard na yan.
Hindi nakalusot.
Okay.
So, and nagpapasalamat tayo kay Mr. Ramon Ang kasi I asked him, sir, can we replace all of these? Because clearly, it's insufficient. No? Hindi niya kayang pigilan ang mga ganitong klaseng incident. And ang sabi ni Mr. Ramon Ang, and I got confirmation today, napapalitan na nila yung mga bollards. Pero ito'y nakabit matagal na Matagal na to eh. It was prior to them taking over because San Miguel only took over last year.
Right. Update on the SETEX tragedy dahil, of course, alam po natin, nakausap ka po namin noong Friday, or was it Thursday or Friday sa agenda, you ordered the suspension of the Solid North bus. So ito po yung dating, tama ho ba, Dagupan bus na binili ng...
The franchise is under the name of Dagupan Bus, but apparently it's one company, no? Na iba lang yung pangalan nitong bus line na ito, no?
Si Solid
Pero
North.
it's also part of the Dagupan
Okay.
bus. No? So, but we only suspended the Solid North
Lingayen.
fleet. No, the entire fleet. 273 buses ang sinuspend po natin. And the reason for that is today, we ordered the LTO and the LTFRB to number one, check all their buses for roadworthiness. So sinimulan na yan, I think sisimulan yan bukas, at i-mandatory drug test lahat ng driver nila. No? So yan and I asked them to complete it in 1 week. No, yung pagtest niya.
So, 273 cannot fly
Suspended.
ang nabasa ko kasi is flying only the Lingayen Cubao route. Hindi po tama yun. Okay.
Oo. So, alam ko po, may mga kababayan natin na nag-react kasi daw paano na yung mga babiyahe, no? So, nag-announce naman po si LTFRB Chairman Guadis kanina na nag-issue siya ng special permit para sa ibang mga bus company nang magdagdag ng close to 300 buses.
Yung nawala na 273,
Yung nawala na 273.
mapunan po yan.
Para mapunan ng ibang mga bus company.
And what happened here? What happened to the driver? I know that you also during the press conference said he refused to take a drug test, and you said he didn't have he
He
cannot
doesn't have a
he
choice.
does not have
He
a
doesn't have a
choice.
choice. Under our laws, he must a drug test must be administered. No. Ongoing pa din po yan, no, ang investigation. But from all reports, ang sinasabi, nakatulog, meron din tayong mga eyewitness accounts from the passengers of the bus na yun nga, napapansin nila medyo inaantok yung driver. No? Kaya nga, isa sa mga ginawa natin dito, kasi tinanong ko kagad ang LTFRB, ilang oras ba ang required maximum ng tuloy-tuloy na pagmamaneho?
Yeah.
At 6 na oras yun. So I asked them to change that, and we looked at standards in other countries, like sa European Union, it's 4.5. Sa Vietnam, it's 4 hours. Other countries in Asia, 4 hours. So sabi namin, ibaba natin from 6 hours to 4 hours. At kailangan may karelyebo. Kasi ang madalas nangyayari,
Yung konduktor.
yung konduktor ang ginagawa nilang karelyebo. Unang-una, hindi natin alam kung marunong ba mag-drive ng bus yung konduktor. Konduktor yun eh, hindi naman yung driver eh.
And I'm sure hindi po madali magmaneho ng bus.
Sa laki na lang po ng bus, hindi ho ganun kadali yan. And ano ho talaga, no? Clearly, nakikita naman natin tayong lahat nasa kali araw-araw. Nakikita naman natin na maraming mga bus na gumegewang-gewang sa kalye, maraming mga bus na humahataw ng todo-todo. I was telling the press earlier, I travel SCTEX and NLEX every day, twice a day. And ako ngayon, napapraning na rin ako eh. Pag may nakikita akong bus, medyo nagre-react na rin ako eh.
Siguro baka pwede nyo na rin po isama, Sec Vince, that now we're talking about buses. But of course, hindi lang naman po sila. Pati din naman yung ibang mga private vehicles, tayo din. Ano? Pero even in the EDSA bus lane, dahil alam nyo naman po, ang sikip nung lane from one lane to another, minsan po, ang bilis din ng kanilang hataw, dire-diretso lang naman sila. Sana meron din silang, I don't know if they have a speed limit there,
Opo.
but pag kayo kasi yung nasa lane, nakatabi ng bus lane, minsan nakakatakot din dahil ang lapit po ng kanilang galaw sa inyo. So maybe that is also something that can be considered. So a department order coming from the Transportation Department, a couple of siguro directives from you. We're going to talk about that. But we'll take a very short break. We'll be back with Transportation Secretary Vince Dizon. Stay tuned, this is On Point. Welcome back. You're watching On Point. Still with us, Transportation Secretary Vince Dizon. The department order signed today. Directives from the DOTr. Number one, we talked about that mandatory drug testing. Who, every when, and who shoulders the cost?
So, mandatory drug and alcohol
And
testing,
alcohol.
for all drivers of public utility vehicles. So, buses,
Jeeps.
taxis, lahat, no?
Motorcycle taxis.
Motorcycle taxis, every 90 days, Pinky, ang frequency, no? And syempre random yun. Meaning hindi nila alam kung kailan, no? Ang mag-shoulder yung operator at yung bus company. Responsibilidad nila. No, it's like I always say, no, it's if you are a bus company, a taxi company, a PUV company, you are given a franchise to run to convey, to bring people to where they need to go and to make money out of it. But in exchange for that, you have to be responsible. And your primary responsibility is to keep people safe, to keep your passengers safe. So this is your responsibility, to make sure that the driver is fit to drive.
Kasi shouldered by the drivers or their employers. How does that work with jeepney drivers? Na alam naman natin, almost hand to mouth.
Well, it's the operators need to shoulder this. And now when we have these cooperatives and these consolidated corporations that are under the modernization program, they have to shoulder it. Because it's the primary responsibility of these operators, these bus companies, these taxi companies, these motorcycle taxi companies, to make sure that their drivers are fit to bring people to where they need to go
Point A to point
safely.
B. Yeah.
Kumikita sila, Pinky eh.
Pero sabi niyo po, medyo nalito po ako, sabi niyo po, every 90 days but random.
Yeah, well, ano yan, hindi nila alam kung kailan. Di ba? Hindi nila alam kung kailan sila itetest.
But if
No?
you say every 90 days, then I know
Yeah,
after 3 months.
Yeah, but still, it doesn't have to be on a specific date. Di ba? It
Not
could be,
exact.
It's not
Pero
exact.
lahat po na empleyado.
Lahat ng driver.
Ay, sorry, lahat po ng driver, right.
Lahat ng driver.
And when is this going to be implemented?
Pinapa-implement na po natin ngayon. The LTO and LTFRB just need to put in the guidelines, the specific guidelines on how to do it. But I want it implemented immediately.
And who's going to do it?
LTO and LTFRB, joint yan. Sigang dalawa.
So, yung bus company, yung operator, sabihin po natin, ano ho yun, dadalin sa license na ng LTFRB or LTO?
Yes. So they're going to work with PIDEA now. So now they have a couple of days to fix the guidelines.
I see. Okay.
And they're going to be working with both PIDEA and the Department of Health. Kasi marami namang drug testing.
Yeah.
Government cannot do this on their own. You're talking about hundreds, maybe thousands of drivers all over the country. So it really needs to be the bus companies responsible. And then you will have these private drug testing companies that will be authorized or certified by the LTO, LTFRB with the help of PIDEA and the DOH for these companies to go to these drug testing centers and have their drivers tested.
Sec Vince, how sure are you that once this is finalized, no, tapos na po ito, that the results are actually going to be real results?
I told the LTO and LTFRB that they need to put in the safeguards and make sure na hindi na naman haw-shaw ito. No, lagi na lang kasing haw-shaw eh. No, kailangan hindi. There has to be safeguards, and any violation has to be meted with the stiffest of penalties.
Dapat po matakot sila kung
Dapat
sino man ang
matakot.
mag-i-implement
Exactly.
ito. Okay.
Tingin, alam mo, and I said this yesterday when I was at the wake in Antipolo, I was asked the same question, diba? Yung mga rules, etc., etc. Sa Pilipinas, more often than not, it's not really the rules and the laws and the regulations, it's really enforcement. If laws and rules are there but not enforced, then as you said, there is no fear, there is no accountability, there is no responsibility. Because there is no enforcement, there's no proper and fair enforcement. No, and it has to be different. No, it has to be different. The president himself said, we have to change what is clearly not working.
I guess I ask that because, you know, the intention is good. It can help save lives. But if we're going to go around the system and pretend that I am negative and I'm just going to pass it to the LTO or the LTFRB, but then it could be, forgive me, siguro yung mga minsan smoke emission ba yun? Na minsan pwede ka lang,
Nagbabayad ka lang,
eh baka ganun din po mangyari dyan sa...
Hindi na pwede.
Okay.
There's gotta be a way for government to enforce this and to enforce this with the fear from the operators and the bus owners and the taxi owners that if they get caught, they can no longer do their business and they will lose everything. Because without that fear, Pinky,
Yeah.
wala eh.
Yeah.
Bagi wala to eh.
How about, could there be any legal impediments to this?
In fact, we were working around the clock yesterday. No, the lawyers were working. Actually, over the weekend, we already wanted to release this Monday, and the lawyers say that under the current laws, we cannot mandate drug testing as a prerequisite to get a license. Okay, but it can be mandated to continue driving for public conveyance, meaning to continue to drive public utility vehicles.
Okay.
So the lawyers are pretty confident with that, and that's why we released the department order today.
Second one, reduce hours. You mentioned this a
Yes.
while ago in driving nila from 6 to 4 hours.
Yes.
Very fair. I mean, imagine having to drive 6 hours in our roads.
Yeah, and for the incident, again, without preempting the investigation by the Philippine National Police, maraming indications, pati nung mga witness accounts nung mga pasahero nung bus ng Solid North, napapansin daw talaga nila, medyo
Naiidlip na yung
naiidlip na yung
driver.
driver.
Question on that. How does that affect their income? Kung bawasan po yung 6 hours to 4 hours, baka naman po lumit ang kanilang kita.
To be honest, hindi ko pa po naiisip yan.
Okay.
No? I will discuss it with the LTFRB. But, alam mo, Pinky, secondary na yun para sa akin Primary is safety. And if 6 hours is too long, then we'll follow global standards and we'll do 4. No?
I guess it's just
the point is we need to change things.
Yeah.
No? And we need to make a very, very strong statement na hindi na pa pwede yung nangyayari ngayon.
Isipin mo, mawalan ka ng mahal sa buhay,
Diyos ko.
naidlip yung driver. It's just
O nagkamali.
not acceptable.
O nagkamali dahil
Nagpanic.
whatever, nagpanic, dahil hindi trained. Alam mo,
Yeah.
kamukha nitong mga practical driving test. I mean, Pinky, di ba? We'll just say it as it is, di ba? Ang dami dyan, magbabayad ka lang. Kahit na bus o truck pa yan, na alam naman natin na hindi birong imaneho yan. At kapag ang truck o ang bus, nakatama ng sasakyan, most likely may mamamatay dyan. Sa laki nitong mga sasakyan na to. Minsan nagbabayad ka lang, atras abante kang yan
Yeah. Yeah.
So lokohan ito.
Yeah.
Lokohan. Alam mo,
Hindi mo ba
sa
alam
Amerika-
naman yan ng LTO at alam din naman po yan ng
Kaya nga kanina, sabi ko,
LTFRB?
pasensya na kayo. Pero
katabi
tama
niyo
na.
po sila
Katabi ko sila
diba?
Sabi ko, pasensya na po. Pero tama na po to. Di ba? I mean,
Sabi nga nila kailangan ba dumating sa punto na yung iyong mahal sa buhay, mangyari to sa iyong mahal sa buhay bago
Tama
kayo
po.
gagalaw.
Tama po yan.
There's actually a post here that I just quickly wanted to share. No? This was from Ezra Akayan. We asked if we could, it's public though, we asked if we could share. Just very briefly, he talks about 11 years ago, he had a traffic violation and was sent to the LTO for a road safety seminar. He says that he was a staff member offered to let us pass the exam in exchange for a small bribe. This man refused. Inside, sabi daw ng staff announced that since only 2 of us refused to pay, everyone would automatically pass. We were still required to complete some sort of seminar, so they asked if we could watch the NBA finals instead of the safety videos. So for 2 hours, me and my room full of traffic violators sat there and watched the San Antonio Spurs clinch their 4th win. That's what happens.
absolutely. Absolutely. Minsan hindi NBA, minsan minsan pelikula. No, ang pinapanood nila. No, I mean, let's just stop it na lang. Di ba? Let's just stop this. Let's stop this farce. Let's stop this joke. And let's just do it right. I mean, before we did the press conference earlier, I was with Asek Digor, I was with Chairman Guadis, and I say, pasensyahan na lang, pero itong sasabihin ko. At ito ang gagawin natin. Kasi alam naman natin lahat na ito ang nangyayari. So, baguhin na natin.
Isn't it also time that they man their own agencies,
Absolutely.
sir?
Absolutely. That's what I told them. No, and we have to do it now. I mean, tama na. I mean, sabi ng presidente, we cannot allow this to happen again. I mean, we have to restore, the confidence of people to drive or to ply our own roads. I mean, right now there's zero confidence.
But here's the thing, something I just thought of right now. Does it have to take a DOTr secretary to order this? And number 2, did it have to take 10 lives for this directive to be implemented as soon as possible?
For the 10 lives, sad. It's so sad, Pinky. But ito na yung nangyari. Ito na yung nangyari. And last August 21, April 21.
April.
Sorry. My dates I'm losing my
Parang
dates
wala na
already.
po kayong tulog eh.
Tuliro na rin ako eh. So,
Hindi naman kayo.
nung
After the Holy Week, break,
Easter
yeah.
Monday, nag-press con kami kasi nga, na-shock ako doon sa mga nakuha kong report.
Yeah.
97, ngayon 98 pala, na positive.
Sa
PUV.
drugs. Oo. And then, kausap po kita noon at tinanong po kita that same question. Sabi ko, sir, hindi ho ba nila alam na tuwing bago mag-Holy Week ay magkakaroon ng drug test and yet 100 of them still turned out positive? It's as if they're obviously not scared of the system.
Yeah, they don't care. They're not afraid
Yeah.
of the consequences. Kaya ngayon, I think the strongest message that we are sending, that the President and the government is sending, is that there will be consequences. From now on, you test positive for drugs, your license is going to be revoked. And we already revoked the 98. Revoked na.
Wow.
All the 98 that tested positive, revoked na. These drivers,
And they
automatic
can
revoke.
they can never apply again.
Yeah, perpetual.
A perpetual disqualification.
Ang revocation.
Oh, ganun na pala ka-stiff.
Tapos itabi na natin yung mga yan. Itong mga mayayabang na mga motorista na kumakaskas o yung vlogger na
Yun
nagyabang.
po, pag-usapan po natin yun, kinuwento nga nila kanina.
Suspended. 90 days.
The woman?
The woman.
Okay.
Oo, suspended 90 days. Yung meron na namang bago, yung Mr. Uson, I forget the name, suspended 90 days. Meron na namang kanina, isa pa, suspended 90 days. If it will, and I told the public this,
Sorry to interrupt you here. You suspend the license for 90 days. How do you know that that person is not driving?
well, pag nahuli siya, wala siyang lisensya, risk na niya yan. Risk na niya yan. At pagka siya nahuli ng walang lisensya, mas mabigat na
Baka
penalty.
revocation na yun kapag...
Hindi. Tsaka kaya nga sinabi ko sa mga kababayan natin kanina, i-post nyo lahat. Ang pangako namin sa inyo, may pinost kayong kaskasero, abusadong driver yan, automatic suspended yan, 90 days, ang lisensya niya.
Pero magkakaroon naman ng pagsusuri, no?
Meron.
Of
Siyempre
course,
naman.
no?
There's a show cause order. They will come to a hearing. They will be investigated. There will be due process. But suspended kagad sila ng 90 days.
Suspended while the is
Yes.
ongoing. Yun ang plano niyo
Yeah.
po.
Hindi, yun na po ang ginawa dun sa
I see.
vlogger,
Aba,
dun sa
Kaagad-agad.
yung isa. Kasi we cannot play around with this anymore,
Yeah.
Pinky.
Sorry, sir. One last question. Saan po pwede magsumbong at saan po pwede magpadala ng video?
Post lang nila sa Facebook nila, makikita naman Makikita naman, i-post nila sa media,
pwede
itag
sa inyo.
nila ang DOTr, itag nila ang LTO. Yun ang kagandahan ngayon nitong social media natin.
Alright.
Na, and we welcome that. And we will act. And we will not even think twice. I told the LTO chief, don't even think. You don't even have to ask me. Just suspend them.
All right. Transportation Secretary Vince Dizon. Sir, again, maraming salamat. I know that you are very, very busy. Thank you for your time, sir.
Thank you.
And we'll
Thank you,
continue to monitor the developments here, especially that the department order has now been signed. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
And that's On Point. Join us again tomorrow, 7:30 p.m. here on BNC, the Billionario News Channel. I'm Pinky Webb. Thank you for watching.